Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the May 5th, 2020 City of Harrison City Council meeting. This evening, we're going to request Mike Maines to provide the invocation for us. If you'd please take a moment and join us.
Mr. Mayor, since we have a few patriotic individuals there, and Chief Hersong and Councilman Samuels and Councilman Egner with their flags in the background, can we maybe do the Pledge of Allegiance first?
Sure, we can do that. We've got plenty of individuals there. Looks like Ryan Samuels or Rob Hersong probably have the two best flags. So if you want to join us in a Pledge of Allegiance, I'll start. If we all stand, we'll be looking at everybody's belly though, so we can try that. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
America,
and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Maines, it's your turn now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had someone scheduled and we had someone to replace that person, and neither one of them showed, so I'll be glad to open us in prayer. Lord, we just we lift this time to you, this time where we come to make decisions for our city. Just pray that you would be with the leaders here this evening, that we would listen to your guidance, that we would pay attention to your leading, that our decisions and votes would be done for you and not for ourselves. I just pray for the leaders of our country now as they struggle with something that they've never seen before. That's when true leaders are challenged. And I just pray that they would, we would all just take a step back, take a deep breath, and understand that everyone is doing the very best they can during this difficult time, that we would be transparent, that we would be open, that we would be honest, and that our leadership would please you. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mike. That was a wonderful invocation. If we could take the roll call, please.
Wilson.
I think you're muted, Jean.
There. Here. Egner.
Here.
Grubbs.
Here.
Samuels.
Here.
Dole.
Here.
Maines.
Here.
Hackworth.
Here.
First item tonight is approval of the council meeting minutes from the April 7th makeup meeting and the April 21st regular meeting.
So moved. Second.
Any corrections, additions? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call.
Samuels.
Yay.
Dole.
Yay.
Maines.
Yay.
Hackworth.
Yay.
Wilson.
Yay.
Egner.
Yay.
Grubbs.
Yay.
We have Sydney with us tonight to give an update on the chamber. Sydney, if you'd like to give us an update. You're muted right now, Sydney.
You're muted.
Sorry. Not a lot has really changed since last time. We did have our first ever virtual after hours last Thursday. We only had about 7 people, so it was kind of small, but we did that, and I think we are trying to plan another one for a week from this Thursday, so the 14th, that Cindy Abrams is actually going to be kind of like a guest, I think, and we're going to maybe see if people want to ask her a few questions about anything they want to ask her about, I guess, but that's still kind of up in the air. But we're trying to get another one together for May 14th. And I think that's kind of it. Not a whole lot has changed a whole lot since last time.
Well, thank you for the update. We'll move into the business section. The first item we have this evening to consider is approval of a resolution authorizing the adoption of an alternative method of apportioning the local government fund.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Dole,
Yay.
Maines,
Yay.
Hackworth,
Yay.
Wilson,
Yay.
Egner,
Yay.
Grubbs,
Yay.
Samuels.
Yay.
That is resolution 3 of 20.
The next item is an ordinance to approval of an ordinance to revise the codified ordinances by adopting replacement pages thereto and declaring an emergency. Essentially, this is all of the information that changed in the last 12 months being updated in our revised code books and ensuring that that is reflected correctly online.
Motion to approve. Second.
Second.
Any discussion or questions on this item? Roll call, please.
Maines, Hackworth,
Yay.
Wilson,
Yay.
Egner,
Yay.
Grubbs,
Yay.
Samuels,
Yay.
Dole.
Yay.
That is ordinance 8/20.
Do we have any items that we need to add or to the agenda this evening? Okay, we'll move into the reports. I'll start my report off with an update. Essentially, if you want to find out what is open, what is not, what is going on with the city as far as activities at the community center or any of our departments, please check our website or our Facebook page. We put regular updates on those sites. And as things change, that will be the first place where you'll be able to find out about those changes. It'll be the most up to date and it will be accurate. Today I was at the community center and a couple individuals were in the parking lot. They had not checked our webpage or our website. They were preparing to go into mayor's court, which did not occur today. It was postponed until May 19th. So if you don't want to make an unnecessary trip over to find out that you cannot do the business you're coming to take care of, please check our webpage and our Facebook page. Those sites will have the information first. I also would like to have a proclamation this evening, but before I read it, I'd like to state that many of our businesses have seen challenges they never thought they'd see. Most of those businesses are meeting those challenges. Some are stepping up to the plate and going above and beyond. And one of those businesses, Monk's Kitchen, brought up an idea to me about recognizing those employees that are putting forth an effort that they normally wouldn't need to put forth during the COVID-19 situation. So I have a proclamation establishing May 16th, 2020 as COVID-19 Hero Day. Whereas Harrison local businesses, Monk's Kitchen, JTM, Hubert Company, F&M Mafco, CTS corporations, and many others wish to express their thanks and gratitude to the men and women who served our Harrison community as emergency personnel and first responders. And whereas many public servants, including police officers, firefighters, healthcare professionals, pharmacists, and many others risk their lives each day in service to the people of the greater Harrison community. And whereas day in and day out, our public servants provided the many diverse services demanded by the people of our community with efficiency and integrity during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas without these public servants at every level, it would be impossible to maintain and protect the health, safety, and welfare of the citizenry of the greater Harrison community. And now, therefore, I, William Nyer, Mayor of the City of Harrison, do hereby proclaim May 16th, 2020 as COVID-19 Hero Day. Encourage the community to honor and recognize the accomplishments, contributions, and sacrifices of the men and women who serving our community during this crisis. So it's a very small thing that the city can do. I know that some of those businesses are going to reach out to those individuals and recognize them in some manner on Friday the 15th and Saturday the 16th. And I think it's wonderful that, you know, even businesses that are meeting this crisis head on have recognized that it's not one person or one business that makes it all work. It's everybody working together. And as Mr. Maines mentioned in his invocation, this isn't a time to be contradictory. It's time to come together. We can't be together, but we can work together. We can work effectively towards bringing our community to a point where when this is over, we're stronger for it. So I encourage everybody, if you get the chance to say thanks to one of these individuals that have gone above and beyond, it will make their day. Their employer may not be able to do that for them, but I know personally that hearing that from people that come into a shop that you interact with, it means more when they hear that thank you, we appreciate what you're doing for us, than most people would understand. So that concludes my report this evening. We'll go to the law director. Does he have a report this evening?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I do not have a report this evening. Thank you.
Okay, so we will start with council reports. We'll start with Mrs. Wilson. Do you have a report this evening?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to say that the Wall That Heals has been postponed to sometime in 2021, but hopefully that the Harrison VFW will be hosting it then, and that we'll be distributing more details as we find them out next year. Also, for Memorial Day, the Harrison Memorial Association will not be having a parade, but we do plan on still decorating the graves, doing our social distancing, and also putting the flags on the street for Memorial Day. That's our plans right now. Those are subject to change if something changes from the governor. The American Legion is planning a blood drive to be held at the American Legion Reception Hall. We do not know the date yet because we are meeting with Hawksworth tomorrow. They are not sending out their mobile units right now. So we're going to open up our reception hall. And when I get that information, I will share it with Shannon and he can put it on the Harrison page for us. Also this past Sunday, our American Legion, with the help of JTM Meats, served over 200 free lunches to anyone who came down and picked up a lunch. We had hamburgers and French fries, and Post members prepared the food. People drove up and we handed them their lunch. So they served over 200 meals. So we're just wanting to say that the groups in our community are still trying to serve our community, and we made sure that meals went out to our first responders. And that's all I have right now. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Gene. I'm sorry I missed that event. I was planning on being there, but my daughter's in the transition of moving homes. And so it was kind of challenging not being able to bring a lot of people together to move. And this past weekend, the time got away from me. I looked at my watch and it was about 4:30 and you guys were finished at 4. So
yes, they finished at 4, but they had plenty of help, and I really wasn't able to help out either as I was on conference calls with the Department of Ohio American Legion, because we've also, like many, have had to change our plans, and we have postponed our department convention until 2021. So my plans in going in as department commander have been set aside for a year. So we're all staying in place for the upcoming year.
Okay. Well, thank you. Mr. Egner, do you have a report this evening?
Yes, sir, I do. Thank I want to start out with the IT committee. We had a meeting in the end of April, and the phones were supposed to be up on the 24th and switched over on the 28th. Then I sat in on the social media meeting. They retained Signal Tree Communications. Sarah has been putting in 5 to 8 hours a week on the social media and on the website. She's keeping up with the state's social media, and then she's reflecting our website and our social media with what the state's putting out as far as COVID-19. And then Joette and Sarah have been cleaning up the state's or the city's website, and the Twitter page is back open. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Agner. Mr. Grubbs, your report this evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. I do not have any report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Samuels, do you have a report this evening?
Yes, I do, Mayor. So I have two things. As Tony mentioned, the social media committee did meet on Friday, April 24th. I actually wasn't able to attend, so I do appreciate Tony stepping in on that. The second thing I have is probably the bigger topic, is regarding the finance committee. At our last committee meeting, we did talk about the possibility of reduced revenues. We did reach out to the department directors, or Kathy did, to kind of investigate if there was a possibility or what budget revisions or reductions that could be made in case we do have reduced revenue coming through. Well, the next night after our last council meeting, we had another finance committee meeting, and Kathy did confirm that on some early estimates that we received from Hamilton County, our revenues were going to be reduced by about $800,000 in 2020. So upon that, we did move forward with asking the departments to incorporate their budget cuts. We did ask the fire department to eliminate the offering of the additional shifts, so that would be a significant savings. But these actions that we're taking are kind of following the guidelines that were set forth, with just trying to ensure that all of our employees continue to receive their base pay, all employee positions are protected, the city continues to provide appropriate level of service to our residents, and that the city provides a safe, healthy situation for our employees and the residents that we serve. So although that initial report from Hamilton County was not, obviously it's never good when you hear that there are reduced revenues coming through, but we have taken some action, hopefully, that these are short term, and we'll get some more definitive guidance soon. But that's where we stand right now. It's going to be an ongoing situation. We are going to monitor it and make any adjustments or recommend any adjustments that we see as more information comes in on the revenue. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Samuels. Your committee's doing a great job identifying the areas, along with the directors, where we can see savings that will result in protection of all of our employees' positions and providing a expected level of service in a safe manner to all of our residents.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Dole, do you have a report this evening?
Yes, I do, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. First, this evening, we had our Utilities Committee meeting. We had an array of issues we discussed. One of the first things we discussed, it had been brought to our attention by some of the hotels and apartment complexes in town, that the new water rate billing structure that we had implemented at the beginning of the year, I think there's been some unintended consequence with the billing and based on the meter sizes that they've got. So we kind of talked through that first. And our utilities director, Mr. Leslie, is working currently to get that figured out to make sure that everything is equitable, and that nobody's getting shortchanged or unfairly billed due to their meter sizes and a number of meters. Then we went through some wastewater projects and statuses, and the West Road Sewer project, which has been ongoing for quite some time, and either emergency phases, or this was the large kind of proactive phase of getting the rest of the damaged or worn out sewer pipe replaced before it failed. That project is complete. So that's a big one off the books for us. Back to the water plant, we do have our water softening upgrade to our water facility. That is designed, construction docs are ready, and we hope to have that out to bid in July so that we could award and start construction in August. And again, those funds are coming from the EPA. Those are loan funds that we had previously qualified for. So those will not be, they're already accounted for as part of our budget. Shifting gears here, we can run over to streets real quick. We've still got one ongoing street project in downtown Harrison, Washington, and Madison streets. We're still waiting to get the surface coat of asphalt, the top coat, and that'll finish everything off down there. I know there have been a couple questions about the intersection of Park and Washington. Where Park goes through Washington, it had not been milled and overlaid, but Mr. Leslie got with the contractor, and they're going to take care of that before they put the final coat on. So that will get milled and overlaid so that it doesn't look patchy or anything like that. We'll have a nice new street when they get done there. I know in, I believe March, we had discussed, we had authorized the city's engineer JMA to move forward with safety studies for both West Road, the West Road overpass, and for Harrison Avenue from New Haven on up to West. We authorized them to move forward with a safety study so that we could apply for ODOT safety funds to make the improvements there. And we've got those applications in there, 100% funded, but that's the good news. The bad news is that with the COVID and everything else going on right now, the construction is not expected to begin on those this summer. It's 2021 is when we're expecting to get West Road done. And for the Harrison Avenue stuff, it's looking more like 2022. We'll keep you posted on that as we move forward. Obviously, we want to get it done as soon as possible. Stormwater Committee, Mr. Leslie brought it to our attention that he'd had a complaint from a couple residents up on Jefferson Street, up towards the east end of town, where there's kind of the Sandusky Road hill drains down into the far end of Jefferson Street there. We had gotten a quote to extend our storm sewers up to that end of Jefferson. And we thought the pricing was out of line, and we can do it for about 20% of the price utilizing our city crews and our accounts and the discounts that we get on materials. So I believe we're going to move forward with that and install more storm sewer on Jefferson and a couple of manholes as well. The only other item I have, Mr. Mayor, would be to announce a planning commission meeting. Shannon, are you on here? Do you know, are we going to have one of those next week via Zoom, or?
We will know that tomorrow morning. Unfortunately, I wasn't aware or wasn't able to get that information today.
Okay, so it'll be advertised on the website then if we do. Okay, and that's all I've got, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Maines, do you have a report this evening?
I have to unmute, had to find my mouse. Yes, Mr. Mayor, I do. The tree board met on April the 28th, and we do appreciate, Mayor, you making the Arbor Day proclamation at our last council meeting. And we discussed a lot of things that we're just kind of tabling right now because of the inability to meet, but certainly making plans for trees for Make a Difference Day, and moving forward. Also moving forward with making sure that we have the flower pots in the downtown area this summer and around town as we customarily do. And the we're thankful. Usually we have city workers taking care of that, but the businesses have agreed that they'll maintain and water those pots over the summer. The Economic Development Committee met this evening, and our Economic Development Director, Shannon Hammonds, has been checking in with the local businesses. Most of our larger employers continue to operate. They haven't had to make large-scale layoffs. They are seeing a reduction in business at some level. They are being hampered by some supply chain issues, but they are being creative. They're being entrepreneurial. They're working through the issues. They're trying to continue to push forward and do business the best they can. Several other companies that he's contacted actually have seen some uptick because they have a little higher industry customer demand, government contracts, and some construction projects. Many of our retailers are really struggling because they've had to close down, and we've seen our restaurant businesses drop off quite a bit. So we would encourage folks to remember that our restaurants are still open for carry out. My wife has a restaurant she wants us to go to this weekend, so we're gonna do that to try to support our local businesses, get out and do the carry out routine to help them out. We do have some good business news. There's a couple of small manufacturing companies in Harrison that are exploring facilities expansions. So it's kind of a mixed bag. We're certainly seeing some companies struggling, and we're seeing some companies that are planning to expand and are continuing to push forward. And so that's kind of the good and bad news. That obviously could be much worse for our community. It's good to hear that there's some plans for expansion for some of our local companies. The Five Guys Burgers and the Golds in the former Gold Star building, and the Make a Mia Pizza at 606 Ring Road, which is in the former Orange Leaf Frozen Yogurt storefront. They are both expected to open at the end of May. So help them best with their grand opening, with your carry out and whatever mode that they'll be operating in at the end of May. The Burger King, as many people, and I noticed a few weeks ago, has been demolished. They are currently exploring some other options, other places that they, for relocation, they will be coming back. The Harrison Community Improvement Corporation met on May 1st. So that was first chance. That's an annual meeting that we go to. And because I'm the council member on economic development, I was able to join that meeting along with Shannon Hammonds, the mayor, and a couple of local business owners that are not part of the district. The CIC is a community improvement corporation. It's a non-for-profit 501c3, and it's exists to make development business decisions and further the economic well-being in the community. One of the recent things that the CIC had done was sold the property at 112 Walnut Street. We acquired that from the city and then sold it. And we are taking those funds and we're providing low-interest loans to local downtown businesses. Those loans are available about $3,000 per loan, and the interest is a simple interest 1% loan to help businesses through the difficult times that we're in right now. So if you have questions about that, downtown businesses, that's you want to reach out to Shannon Hammonds. He can help facilitate that. The next economic development meeting will be prior to the first council meeting in June, and that will be Tuesday, June the 2nd. We meet at 5:45. If you have any questions about economic development, please see our economic development director, Shannon Hammonds. Tony, did you mention rec meeting on May 13th? Yes, no?
I did not.
Okay, so I just want to remind folks that the Recreation Commission will be meeting on May 13th. We are trying to figure out what rec is going to do this year with everything that's going on. And so we continue to meet and continue to adapt as the plans change. And then on May 14th, Thursday morning, I'll be attending the OKI Board of Directors meeting. Normally that's a meeting where I travel downtown to do that, but we'll do it for the second month in a row. We'll make that meeting. I believe that'll be online. So, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you.
Hopefully, we'll have some more financial information for that rec meeting where we can make some decisions about summer fun, the concerts, the different events that the rec commission has planned for this summer. We know that social distancing and summer camps don't go well together, but we're trying to find out what the state has to say. I know that a lot of places, a whole lot, have just outright canceled all of their summer events all the way through to September. We're hoping that we're going to still be able to do something, but we have to see what the state has to say and what our finances have to say about it. So I'm going to try to be in attendance at that meeting. So make sure I get a copy of that link. That brings us down to the last report this evening, and that's Mr. Hackworth.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The law committee did meet this evening. We had moved those to quarterly, but tonight we had some new business that kind of came up. We've had a request to look at the possibility of putting an ordinance in place to allow golf carts in the city. It's a very kind of a detailed list of things that we're going to have to go through to see if that's something we can entertain or not. And that's going to include letters of opinion from both the police chief and the fire chief, just due to safety concerns that could be on their minds. But also we're going to require some more in-depth ordinance look, kind of like pieces. So we got to make sure that we know the exact places these golf carts could function within the city. And there's just a lot of things we got to figure out. So we've decided to go ahead and meet next month. So that gives us a month to kind of get all of our proverbial ducks in a row to see if it's something that we want to bring to council for recommendation to create that. So the presentation we received tonight was well done. I think it's something that we need to look at. So it's not going to be an easy decision. I know it does affect a lot of people. So we want to do it right, and we're going to do everything we can to do it if we're going to do it well. So we will have then another first Tuesday of next month. We will have another law committee meeting to discuss that. I would like to take a moment to let the people of Harrison know that if you have a senior in high school this year and you have not seen all the cool things that are happening for our seniors, please reach out to me if you can't find it, but on Harrison Happenings, et cetera. There's some groups that have gotten together to kind of quote unquote adopt a local senior. And it's just a way for them to kind of let them know they're not forgotten. It's we're all inconvenienced during this time, but those that were ready to try and finish up their cool senior year and move on to college or whatever they decide to do, that's just been completely interrupted. So it's really cool that the community has stepped up and they're offering to kind of take some of those seniors under their wings, and just, it's kind of cool. They just do little gift cards or little gifts and things like that, just to remind them of this time. So it's not such a negative situation in their life. So I appreciate that. And if anybody can't figure out where those things are, feel free to reach out to me and I can point you in the right direction. I'd also like to take an opportunity just real quick to thank the ICRC for enabling us to be able to do this. It's continuing city business during a lockdown like this is not super simple. And thankfully we have a technology partner like them that enables us to still meet and still do city business and still take care of the needs of the city. So I want to thank them for that. And that's all I have tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Do we have anybody have any business we did attend to prior to adjournment? If not, I'd like to hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, I'll take Ryan Grubbs for the motion and Ryan Samuels a second. Roll call, please.
Hackworth,
Yay.
Wilson,
Yay.
Egner,
Yay.
Grubbs,
Yay.
Samuels,
Yay.
Dole,
Yay.
Maines.
Yay.
We stand adjourned. Thank you for joining us this evening, and we will have another online council meeting in 2 weeks. June is still up in the air whether it will be electronic or whether it will be in person. We will let you know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.